So, continuing with Vlogtober, today I'm going to have a quick flick through Gert and Daisy's wartime cookery book. Yeah, and let's have a look at some recipes together, and then you can have a peek into this authentic, it's a pretty old cookery book, obviously from the 1940s, so it's been knocking on a bit, hasn't it? When you think about it, 60, it's probably about 80 years old, can you believe it? But I'm going to take you through the little flick through.
Gert and Daisy's Wartime Cookery Book by Elsie and Doris Waters. Gert and Daisy. I don't actually know who Gert and Daisy are, so I really should have a look, shouldn't I? This looks like an interesting little cookery book. It's got a nice introduction there. There's a lot of humour going on, so I imagine these probably were a double act. Gert and Daisy probably did a lot of laughing to keep spirits up. For a small little cookbook, there seems to be a fair good amount inside. Mrs. Moncrieff's cake. That's interesting. I like it that it's got anti-waste hints right at the beginning. So that's probably one of the most important things that they want to share, which would have been very, very on point at the time, wouldn't it, with the limited rations that you had. Didn't want you to waste anything at all, did they? This is quite interesting. So there's a section on soups. Tomato soup, white vegetable soup. So many soups. Pea pod soup, onion and potato, carrot soup. What's this? Brose. This is a beautiful Scottish dish and worth knowing about in these times because you get a lot for your money. We like that, don't we? Getting a lot for our money. And this is blitz soup, which I've already made on the 1940sexperiment.com. I have another URL, which is rationbookrecipes.com. It might be easier to remember that. I have recreated blitz soup and it's also on YouTube. Fish. I mean, personally, I'm obviously a vegan. I don't eat meat or fish, but it's got lots of recipes with regards to using a limited amount of meat. Yeah. Rabbit, corned beef, pig's pudding. That's interesting. The way they've spelt gelatin there. How to use leftover meat. Savoury dishes without meat. That's probably more my cup of tea. Vegetable hot pot, vegetable pie, Burton Wally hot pot. Haricot beans. Tasty pie. Well, that sounds good. I'm sure you could veganise a lot of these as well, obviously if you don't eat meat at all. That's what I tend to do. We're very blessed, aren't we, in this day and age, to have a lot of resources. And here we have things for high tea as well. Sausage pie, baked bean pie. That sounds interesting. Cornish pasties, now you're talking. Spaghetti and tomato. Here are oatmeal's used an awful lot, isn't it? Oatmeal scramble. Soused herrings. Ooh, we'll miss on the brawn. And of course puddings. That would have included a lot of bread, I would imagine. So there we are, bread and butter pudding. Six cup pudding, steamed scrap bread pudding. Now that sounds like my cup of tea. Spotted dick. Oh my gosh, I've not had a spotted dick in years. Less said about that, the better. Quaker oats mould, rolled oats pudding, summer pudding, fruit charlotte, spiced apple tart, and Gert and Daisy flan. Wow. And here we have cheap Christmas pudding. Now that's quite timely really, because obviously we're heading to Christmas, even though we're sort of 2.5 months away. But yeah, I'm going to make a nice Christmas pudding this year. Dutch apple cake, carrot pudding, War and Peace pudding. Now that sounds good. Gosh, don't you love it when you find somebody scribbling in the handwriting? In pencil. It was always in pencil, wasn't it? So we've got cakes. There we are, Mrs. Moncrieff's cake. Notice that right at the beginning. Quaker Oats fingers, shortbread, coconut cake. Oh my golly gosh. I really don't eat much cake this year. I haven't at all. I've probably had 2 or 3 bites of cake and that's it. Oat cakes, oatmeal scones or farls. Cavendish cake. Yeah, I really think this is such a nice little book. This is the original. It's just nice to have a little peek into these treasures, isn't it? A lot of books, I think, a lot of small books as well, were given away with newspapers, or you could collect them and buy them as part of a newspaper group. Oh, here's some stuff about the Oslo breakfast. That would be quite interesting to read. And then we finish, of course, with the week's menu. And this is some hints by Gert and Daisy to sort of plan your menu ahead. Just bear with me. And there we can see some menu. So you can have a look and you can see the menu, which takes you through every day of the week. It's really nice to see some good examples of what people would have eaten, I guess. Yeah, sprat pie, eh? Stewed rabbit, oh my golly gosh. But there we have it, lots of oatmeal, lots of bread, lots of vegetables, and I'd imagine a little bit of meat here and there, and a bit of cheese. And fish. And that looks about it.